Okay, now ta-da.
Oh, ta-da! One day we'll get this right. Welcome, travelers. If you're new here, my name is Brenna. I am your One More Minute Mom DM, and welcome to Tales from the Catacombs. This is our tabletop RPG adventure that we are thrilled to share with you. This game uses the Dungeons&Dragons 5th edition D20 system and rules, and our setting is a homebrew based on the rock musical Razia's Shadow by Forgive Durden. We have a brief introduction to the setting that you can read at your leisure, and I hope you will, so you can be as immersed in the world as our players are. Without further ado, please enjoy this episode of Razia's Shadow, a 1,000-year interlude. Let's recap. Session 22. The novices faced striking dreams in the night, but Ste'yn woke up with no memory of hers, only blood staining her clothing in an odd pattern around her shoulders. They regrouped at the Stout Watchman and made plans to handle the last of their business in Hazelford before setting off for the guardianship. It didn't take long to learn that Vivia's family, whom they would escort to Cadence, included the brother and sister from the rigged drinking contest the night before. With Pistachio the horse secured and their wagon upgraded, the group began their travel back south. Snow took time over the 2 days to read through the journal they discovered in that dark-filled compound. It had notes on experimentation. The subjects were all beings of light, exposed to darkness in various cruel ways. And along the journey, Ste'yn finally remembered her dream. It was a far too vivid memory of the Goliath Kalain Slyweaver's final night alive. The novices arrived in Cadence in the evening of the second day and bid farewell to Vivia's family, choosing to hold off on their hospitality until another time. They traveled well into the night to reach Grati-Minot and went straight to Saker's Keep for help with whatever might be affecting Beau's and Snow's memory. The acolyte Aglin couldn't offer immediate assistance, only further observation that would take more time. Instead, the novices made their way to their beds of various types, wherever they choose to be. But on the way out, novice emissary Von Grissom appeared to tell them that their debrief would be in the Rally District once again. In the morning, while Snow, Ste'yn, and Viola prepared for the day, Beau was already awake and on the move to the Rally District. He spotted the captain in the garden behind her home, staring off at nothing and listening to the music in her locket. But rather than get that question answered immediately, let's first find out what the other three are up to. Ste'yn and Snow, you guys were mid-conversation, very serious conversation, that was interrupted by the bells of the new hour at Saker's Keep, and you guys were beginning to make your way out. You did have some tea left for you by Yonai, which was very kind. Well, it said -Y, I believe. Not his full name, but I think Ste'yn can put 2 and 2 together. And Viola left Lear's side rather than going down to get breakfast and all of that, was making her way back to Saker's, assuming that that's where Ste'yn would want to be sleeping because she likes to sleep with dead people. Unless there was something specific you were doing individually, can I assume you guys met up with each other at Saker's? But tell me if there was something else. Otherwise, I will assume you guys reconnected at Saker's Keep.
Yeah, I thought Viola did get breakfast and she got some stuff to like stick in her pockets to bring to them.
Mm-hmm. Probably. Let's go with that.
We gotta eat.
Snow is just rereading his letters from, well, the most recent letter specifically from Taryn and not looking at Ste'yn.
Probably you guys were waiting either up front in that like initial courtyard area or in the atrium when Viola makes her way with breakfast, even some breakfast treats. So what are you guys doing then?
Thanks for bringing breakfast.
You are very welcome. Good morning. How did you guys sleep outside?
Much better than I slept inside last night, or a few nights ago.
Splendid. Did you sleep all right? You look a little tired.
I was just so excited to get back to my armor. I slept in my armor last night. I might have tossed and turned a bit. Wasn't the greatest decision, but I'm
You
very...
slept in that?
But just look how pretty it is.
Are you used to sleeping in it? Do you do that?
No, but you do it all the time, so I figured it would be fine. Clearly, I was wrong.
Your armor's also heavier than mine.
Is it? I didn't know that.
It looks incredibly heavy. Maybe
Thank
before
you.
we leave, we should get one of the clerics here to give you some restoration.
Can they do that? That would be really great.
It's one of the few useful things they do. No offense, Ste'yn.
All right.
Well, shall we head inside then? I'm guessing that means no more nightmares then, Ste'yn.
No more reliving other people's deaths this time.
Good. Very good.
So you guys are already kind of seated in that atrium area. There are some people it's clearly not a commonly kind of used area except by people who are kind of meant to be there. But you do, there are acolytes going through. You don't spot, say, Aglin immediately. I don't know if you're looking for someone specific, but, there's just acolytes who
When we
pass
start
through every now and then.
seeing the robed people, if she can assume that they would be able to do something, Viola would just be be like, "Hey, I'm really tired. My friend Snow here said that there's something someone can do to make me not tired. Is that a thing someone can do?" She's just talking out to the room of people as they're walking by.
Yeah, and someone who was walking alone turns her head, and you recognize her as one of the ones who had peeked in after that messy situation the other day at Saker's Keep. A young lady with long brown hair. She also wears one of the white robes, but she also has a white scarf kind of over the back of her head and down over her shoulders. And she stops you and seems to recognize you again, back in your full plate armor. She smiles. "Yes, I'm sorry, do you mean you're just tired? You slept funny?
Correct. I did not sleep the greatest last night.
Probably the best option would just be a bit of rest.
I don't have time for that. I'm very sorry, but
Oh.
he said there's something called great resting or something like that.
And she looks over at you, Snow. Oh, your
Anyone
Arcana.
who can do some restoration to fix her up a bit would be appreciated.
Probably one of our higher acolytes. Someone's bound to be on duty, and she kind of looks around. Well, if you'll come with me, we'll have you wait in our sort of treating area. If you don't mind sitting for just a minute, I'll see who I can find. My name is Tamar, by the way. I don't know if we met, but you look familiar from the other day.
Yeah, Viola. All three of us are here.
Yes. Well,
Pleasure
nice
to
to
meet
meet
you.
you, officially. Yeah, if you don't mind, and she'll take you back to the other room. Takes a few minutes. Perhaps they had to go seek someone out. And then kind of coming back in and not super jolly, but tempered jolliness, Aglin does return. He returns, hands on
He's
his...
the only cleric who works here.
He's technically the night shift. He's technically the night shift. But sometimes
we're just always
people
here
are
at night.
busy. You guys are here either night or stupid early in the morning. Just the tail end of graveyard shifts. And he comes and he sees you all back. What is there to say? Welcome back. Have you decided to let me do a full-on investigation of you yet, or you're just here for what Tamar asked?
Nope.
Yeah, I'm
She
just
needs some
tired.
restoration.
Just some restoration. I'll keep that in mind in case someone comes in later and they're practically crawling hands and knees. And hopefully it doesn't come to that, of course. He nods at you, Snow, looks back at Viola. I'd be happy to help. Generally, we ask small donations if you're able to, but it's obviously not required. And he holds his hand out to you. Not for money. He holds his hand out towards your hand, towards your arm.
Viola doesn't realize that, so she gets out a silver piece and puts it in his hand.
Yeah, I just realized that spell costs 100 gold pieces.
He looks at the silver piece and looks back at you and realizes, to be fair, that was not my intention, and I apologize if that seemed blunt and forward. And he actually will put he'll put the silver piece back in your hand, and as he does that, he holds your hand. He closes his eyes for a moment, and you kind of feel this warmth sort of wash over you from your hand, up your arm, sort of across your whole body. It's this very comforting, cozying up into a blanket. It's like your favorite plushy blanket feeling for this brief moment before it dissipates. And then he removes his hand, and you are still holding the silver piece, and he nods at you. How do you feel? And the level of exhaustion is lifted.
I feel wonderful. Thank you very much. I have a feeling we've got a busy day ahead of us, as per usual, so I didn't want to start it off on the wrong foot. Thank you very much.
I completely understand, and you're very welcome. Is there anything else I can do for you before you head off to your busy day?
Not that I know of. And Viola will look
Nope.
at Ste'yn and Snow.
I think we're good. We appreciate your help as always.
Absolutely. And if you do suspect you do have anything cursed, as you mentioned, we're happy to look it over. Well,
Keep that in mind.
Wonderful.
Thank
Bye.
off to your busy day. You guys make your way out. So where are you off to then? You have breakfast and you are no longer exhausted.
First off, Viola's gonna look at him and be like, cursed. What does he mean, cursed? Is he talking about the crown or
Oh yeah,
something
she
else?
wasn't there.
Some of the stuff that we picked up in the freaky compound place might have been cursed, but it's fine. We dealt with it.
Okay. Well, I guess we need to get headed to the rally district. I have no idea where Beau is. I haven't seen him this morning, but I mean, he was there when Vaughn told us that we needed to meet up with Nora this morning, so
I mean, he can find his way there just as easily as the rest of us.
I guess we need to go down and
Probably
get a
already
cart.
gotten there and left and was looking for us.
Maybe, if he did the whole debrief for us, I'd be fine with that.
Hey, that would be really nice, actually. I mean, we wouldn't have to go at all.
But sadly, we do have to go to see if he's done it or not.
Well,
So do we
let's
have a
go.
cart or something, or are we walking?
We always have a cart. Now that my thing is signed, I get a cart there whenever I need it. So we've got the golden ticket.
Now that we travel with the esteemed Lady Viola.
Thank you. And she'll curtsy very deeply.
You hear a small little applause as you guys are exiting. You look behind you and Tamar is standing there just around the little archway and then waves as you guys make your way out. Actually, give me a perception check.
19.
That's an 8.
28.
What if she's been the roaming pickpocket?
She's been following us around this whole time.
Oh, thank you for
She
the
doesn't even
reminder.
work there.
It's because we never give donations to the temple, so she's just taking donations.
For the
Viola
most
didn't even
part,
give
that
the
was the
silver
first
back.
time they even asked for a
Oh,
donation
yeah.
in our defense.
Mm-hmm.
No, they didn't. They didn't ask before. It's
They
fine.
all
she
they did
gave
was
one,
boast
he
about
just
how
gave it
much the
back.
city funds them. That's all we've heard, is that they're doing great because the city funds them.
I would not quite hold your breath to receive something.
Well, the keep is planning on receiving something, right?
It's not for us, no.
Okay, well, who's getting the money at the end?
The city. Sacred's Keep does fine. We do fine by the generosity of the city itself. So the city will handle matters of this.
But yet, when I
take it
just...
out of my hands.
But when I mentioned getting paid for helping back there, you said there was nothing.
Nothing that we can give, certainly.
You just said that you get plenty from the city.
For basic needs.
Beau, just give up.
Hey, he didn't say doing great. He just said that they were taken
They
care
had
of.
no
that doesn't
one.
mean that they had. That doesn't mean that they were like sitting there pretty. They don't have. They don't have the.
They're
plush
dropping
white
100.
robes,
They're
okay?
dropping 100 G's every time we visit,
They're trying to help the people in need.
which means they have plenty.
Sure. Okay. No, that's totally fine. That's an acceptable presumption. I'm fine with that. You guys wave back at Tamar. Viola's already spun back around, but the two of you see Aglin also in that hallway, seemingly to have stopped, to have observed your exit as well.
No, doesn't wave at him.
That's fine.
They don't
He
give him
wasn't
enough.
waving. He just has his kind of in that fashion of like sitting on his belly. Just that same calm demeanor that he just seems to exude. Like nothing kind of phases him.
It's too
But that's
calm
interesting.
sometimes. Not as calm as
Alright.
Gaworu, but there's some similarities there.
He was past calm. He was barely living.
He's plenty alive, but he does things his own way. Always has.
Off to
I feel like
the
that
stables.
was really ominous.
do you expect? I talk about death all the time. Might as well be ominous more.
Fair enough. So, yeah, to the stables, I guess.
Onward.
You guys make your way. It's a short stint down to the stables. Completely expected and not at all surprise. There is Sazian. He's helping one person or another, generally quick, and then stepping back and stepping away so that he's not in anyone's presence for too long. Head down as they make their way away, and you guys approach. He has his head lifted only just enough to see that you were there before bowing again, head low. And he almost immediately goes back inside. And when he comes back out, he's got a horse that seems to be already prepped. It's not a small little cute pony horse. No, it's not a little baby horse. But it is a younger horse. Also a female, also very nicely tended to. She's also kind of she's more brown than she is kind of that gray that Buttercup is, but also a young, kind of pleasant, whinnying horse. And he brings her out and he asks, "Are you making your way somewhere?"
Good morning, Sazian. We are getting ready to head to the Rally District. Is this beautiful horse for us to use for the day?
Yes, I was informed before that if you needed to make passage, then it should not be interrupted, so I made sure that at least something you might find suitable was there.
Oh,
Who informed you?
Find anything suitable.
I was informed. Between Sir Canyon and Darmian told me. It was important that I know. I'm here most often.
Well,
I'm
thank
just
you
curious.
very much. So, who is
Yes,
this
thank
that
you.
we have here?
Everyone calls every horse something a little different. This one, most often, they're told her name is Cherry.
Oh, that is a beautiful name. I love that. And while we're talking about horses, does Buttercup happen to be in the stables, or is she out for training?
Yes, of course. And he kind of steps aside and motions if you wanted to go in.
Viola will look at Ste'yn and Stone. She'll be like, "It'll just be 1 minute," and she'll walk into the stable to go see Buttercup.
Every time. When you go over to Buttercup's pen, you do see this small pouch. It's partially opened, and inside you do see these 3 carrot sticks, as if they were waiting for you, that are sitting there for you to feed her if you want to. And she's there, she's up and moving, she's kind of excited and kind of kicking some of the hay around a bit, and sees you and comes up to the door of the pen. It's kind of like already trying to like get her head closer to you.
Viola will open the gate and get in the stall with her and pet her and chat with her for a bit, tell her about the evening and everything she's missed out on, and feed her the carrots.
Completely loose. Actually, give me an intelligence check.
They aren't really carrots. Also, I don't know if it's just Sazian being proper, but is Canyon a knight? He keeps saying Sir Canyon, which Sir is usually knighthood.
It is.
That is a 7.
Okay. Yeah, you are spending this time with Buttercup. You're telling her about the evening, and then that just sparks another memory of something that happened a little bit earlier, and you're like, okay, let me set the story for you, and you start setting the whole story for her. You guys have been waiting outside for about 35, 40 minutes, wondering, like, you've occupied yourself. You somehow managed to not let Snow walk off, because he would have been gone at 5, he would have been gone at 3 minutes. But just the general jovial atmosphere, or at least, you're not where you were anyway.
That was kind of a long time with Nora before you guys show up. Dang.
Before,
Like I
let's
said,
pull it
Beau's
back
gonna
to,
be
like,
done and heading
let's
back.
call it back to like 15, 20 minutes, which is still a lot of time. We'll call it like 15,
It's still
20
a lot.
minutes. It's a bit of time.
While
yes.
she's in there, Snow turns to Ste'yn. Do you think maybe we could purchase Buttercup for like her birthday or something?
I don't know.
she owned by the state? I don't know how these things work.
We could find out. But then we'd have to.
Is Sazian outside?
He's just doing his normal duties out and about. Well, in the stable or helping someone. You could stop him.
Snow stops him for a moment and hands him a daisy that he's made from his staff. Good morning.
He doesn't take it immediately.
I don't know.
As if
He
like
just
he's
holds it out
unsure.
until he does.
And then one of his kind of clearly grimy gloves takes it from the bottom to avoid like touching your hand, but he takes it, looking down again.
You know, I don't remember if I ever actually introduced myself, and if I didn't, I apologize. I'm Snow. Pleasure.
He nods again.
Out
Says,
of curiosity, do you know if we can purchase Buttercup? Because that would make Viola's like entire life.
I never actually
allowed?
asked. I could find out for
Okay.
you if you needed me to.
You don't have to trouble yourself. I was just wondering.
It wouldn't be any trouble. I know that there have been people who have taken wagons out for assignments and such, and sometimes it's been a matter of keeping that one or having traded it out, and there has been compensation to the guardianship. I could imagine it could be the other way around as well.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. He'll wait until either you move or he is sort of dismissed. Like if you end the conversation, otherwise he won't go. So he would wait until that before he goes back to his duties.
Don't let us keep you.
If you need anything, you can always ask. Of course.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then he'll go back into the stable. Viola does make her way back, not realizing how much time has gone by.
Snow has reread the latest letter from Taryn 5 times.
And there is a cart now, a much smaller cart, now attached to Cherry.
When Viola comes out, she'll just say, sorry, I always have to go in and visit with Buttercup for a quick minute every time I'm down here.
Quick minutes?
Yeah, it wasn't that long, but we better get going.
It was an
Yes.
hour at least.
It was not. You think you're funny, Snow. It wasn't an hour. I know that.
Alright, shall we go?
Let's do it.
You do not have a rider. You guys are left to your own devices as far as is concerned, but you do have transport. Viola, you can give me an animal handling check as you make your way to the Valley District.
Is she going to develop proficiency in
1,000%
vehicles
yes.
at some point?
1,000%.
Because I feel like she
yes.
does it enough.
She sure does. Thank you guys for letting her do this.
Well, for right now, that's a 9.
Only Buttercup. When will we learn?
It's her horse.
we do need to buy her Buttercup.
The person doesn't choose
Gotta
the
happen
horse.
now.
The horse chooses the person.
I mean, I feel like first we need to like enhance Buttercup because we need a
Baby.
we need a reliable.
She's just a little baby.
Hey, she's going through training. She's got it down.
It's true. It's true. Cherry is a little too eager. Perhaps she also needs a little bit more direction, or maybe she's kind of just now finishing up her own training and going out on her own. So some of that is going to be with the rider, but it's not a terrible trip. It's just a little shakier than you'd hope. You could probably cover it up with one of your Viola smiles, and they love you already anyway, so, you know, no big deal. As you guys trundle out past the Rising Gate on your way.
Will they let us take this cart like all the way straight to Nora's house?
Yeah, it's a small enough cart. It's not like a big interfering whole caravan wagon that it could probably, it'll do fine in the city limits.
Okay, that's what Viola would intend on doing unless someone tells her otherwise.
Yep, we'll say that that's what the conversation that will go down. You will not be stopped in that wagon, in that cart. I'm trying to differentiate. With some minor backtracking back in the Raleigh district. So Beau, so you had gone to the back of this 2-story home that you've become familiar with to some degree, and you did spot Captain Nora. You had followed the sound of a familiar music, the familiar lullaby, and you spot her sitting on the bench just beyond that low metal gate closing off a small garden. And even from that distance, you can see where the flowers, which if I didn't mention what those flowers were last, did I?
Oh, no, you didn't mention what they were. I thought you were going to say
The
if I
type of
didn't
flower?
mention they were getting crushed. I am inside the house.
You start to walk inside.
Would you like
give
some
me
invisible assistant?
Please, before anything,
Back door's open.
give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, come on.
Oh dear.
Yeah. 13.
You start to walk inside, and you feel this sudden, like, shock go all the way up and through your body, like, from your feet up to the points of your hairs, like, standing on. You end up stumbling backwards, tripping over the garden fence and falling back as something unseen appeared to have shocked you as you attempted to go inside.
He's going to ram it this time. 7.
This time, you're straight up launched backwards. You end up over the short gate, smacking against the wooden bench that's out there and kind of fumbling through some flowers. You end up knocking over some small wooden stake that appears to be inside the garden.
Oh, they're crushed. They're red and white. I don't know if Beau, how well versed in flowers is Beau?
I was gonna say, I don't know if he's colorblind or not. It's like he can see color. What's the check for?
I'm just introducing a new thing. It's a nature check.
Oh, nature.
Mm-hmm.
Comes with the race.
That's great.
Incidentally, you're all
11.
blind.
11? Okay.
Yeah.
Based on some people you know, I think you'd be able to differentiate some certain flowers would probably stand out to you. One little voice in your head pops up and reminds you. And you can see that the flowers are red and white carnations in this little garden.
Does that
Some
little
of which
voice
are
also say the
crushed.
significance of such flowers? Because that's eluding me.
No.
Okay.
Not with an 11.
That's
You don't
fine.
remember her voice well enough. It's been a while.
I spot
But
her.
you see
Does
her
she
there.
spot me?
It does not. Oh, give me a perception check.
Ooh, not 20. This is such a stupid thing to get it on.
Nah, it's great.
That was
You
the most
see
important
her.
role of the game.
It involves one of my favorite NPCs. I'm for it. You
Well, that's
see
good,
her.
because he's about to take care of this. No.
Psionic gun.
Sneak attack.
Plus 50 damage. You see her on the bench, and you see her kind of. It seems like she's staring off at nothing. But with a nat 20, she's staring down at the garden bed. You can see, because the gate's not closed off, right? It's these iron arches. You can see where there is still a single one of these wooden spikes in the ground. She seems to be staring just directly in that vicinity. Her hand is up by her neck, by her chest, and you can see in her hand is the locket. The music is playing, and she does not seem to notice you at all. She seems entirely just encompassed in this staring and to the sound of the locket.
Okay. He's going to approach her. Hello, Nora. Hello.
And the second time you say hello, the song ends. And in that moment, the song ends, and
she
almost
turns on.
almost as if hitting play, she closes the locket, looks up, turns to you, and she just smiled as if nothing had happened. Good morning. You've made it.
Yes. Just a little bit. What are you
Where
doing?
are the others? Oh, just sitting here, getting some fresh air first thing, making some tea, start my day. I apologize, I hadn't expected company so early.
Oh, it's fine. I'm not much of a tea drinker.
I'm glad, because unfortunately I did not prepare tea that others would probably enjoy much. I'm sorry.
Is it more of that caffeinated thing?
It is indeed. But if you did need something, I'd be happy to make you something. But where are the others?
Oh, who knows? But I'm sure they'll be coming.
I hope everything went well.
Oh, things were fine.
All right.
But
I suppose that works.
since we were already going to be coming over
And
here...
she has, and in that, she's kind of just unconsciously returned the locket back under the high collar of her armor. So it is entirely invisible at this point.
I figured I would get a head start getting here. But
I appreciate that.
it gives us a little bit
Yes.
of time for chit-chat, perhaps. I have an inquiry.
Certainly. I'm afraid I'm still looking up your previous inquiry, which I apologize has taken me so long.
Yes. No worries. I tried to remember what that inquiry was. I think I know what it was, but it was more for her benefit than his.
She doesn't know that. She
Yeah.
just knows that you had asked her about if she had ever heard of the city again.
Okay, that's how I figured it was, but
Mm-hmm.
it's been out of sight, out of mind for him, because he doesn't really...
She stands up, kind of brushes herself off a little bit, and she motions towards the open back door. Shall we go inside then, while we wait for the others?
No, I mean, you wanted fresh air, didn't you?
I've gotten plenty, I'm sure. I don't mean to keep you outside. I'm sure the seating's much more comfortable inside.
Perhaps.
Or not. And she sits again, and she kind of offers a space on the bench.
No,
It's not.
thank you.
It's not a large bench, but it's not like you'd be sitting directly on her lap or anything. She offers it.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Oh, why are you speaking that way?
What do you mean? Wait, I had a question for you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to turn tables or anything. You're speaking differently than when we first met, certainly. I wondered if there was a reason.
No. But...
You just chose to... All right. I'm not one to question further.
I want to know about your illness. How did you get that? Or more so, what is the story behind that?
That does sound like the same question repeated, in case you were wondering.
Well, actually, never mind. Just answer it. Please.
All right. It's just something that's been with me for a while, since I was a child. Can't explain much further than that.
Well, you don't remember what caused it?
Give me a persuasion check.
See, this is why I would have wanted the nat 20.
Nat 1.
Not a nat 1, but not much better.
Oof.
Okay, so I rolled a 3, but my persuasion's a 9, so that turns into a 12, and then I got a 4 on psionic, so that is 16.
Say it again for the people in the back, the psychotic dice.
So 16.
From a 3 to a 16. I'm not ready. She stops and seems to think about it for a moment. Well, no, it's not a matter of not remembering. Simply, it's prolonged exposure to the dark, I suppose.
Yes,
Or
I
coming in
knew
contact
that.
with it.
How?
Then I'm not sure
Why
what else-
were you so prolonged?
I don't know that I want to discuss that first thing in the morning.
Well, good thing you already had your tea.
Oh, I don't believe I owe you a particular answer.
Maybe not owed, but it would be appreciated.
She pauses for a moment, looks back at you. And why do you speak the way you do now?
I technically asked mine first. You answer mine, I'll answer yours.
I've technically already answered yours. You're asking for further information. I could at least get a baseline answer to mine.
A baseline? I
Yeah.
feel like talking like this.
Yes, but why do you feel like talking?
I gave you a baseline. And this is why he came here alone.
She isn't sure what to say to this, honestly. She looks off again, pondering, looks back. All right. It's not a secret or anything. It's simply not pleasant. I was one of my parents who traveled in areas that were terribly close to Burns of Dark. And I was with that parent that very often leads to more exposure than anyone is wont to have.
So it wasn't from being in it? You were just walking along?
Give me another persuasion check.
Here comes the nut one.
Was I supposed to expend a die for that last one, by the way?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Just so I had to come for him.
I'm
so
sorry,
this is gonna
yes.
be better. So I got a 9, so that becomes 18. And if
Mm.
needed, I also got a 6, so that becomes a 24.
Mark the die. The words are coming out clearly difficult as you're asking her to recall these memories. Nothing gets past you, does it? No, I suppose I did spend amounts of time within the bands. Yes.
And you guys were there willingly.
He was. I suppose I was. But I don't know how much you expect a child to understand where they should or should not be when their parent believes they should be somewhere.
So he believed you should go with him? As a child?
I suppose I should start from the beginning and make it make sense. Unless you're going to interrupt with more incredibly intrusive questions. Let me know now so I can be prepared.
Well, I don't know what questions to ask yet. I haven't heard the story.
So, I was born in Pio. My mother met a man who was a traveling adventurer and seemed very exciting and much more exciting than the father of her other children. So when I came around, mind you, she was very gracious in how she raised me, and her husband was not cruel to me, but you tend to stand out when you're not like your siblings. And I spent that time dealing with it and being raised. It wasn't awful, but clearly a black sheep. And then one day, my father, as it happened, returned. And I was happy to go with him. I figured it had to be better than being in a home where I wasn't precisely wanted. So I did. And there was no argument about it. I traveled with him. I did not know, at the time, that he was probably already a bit addled in the mind. All I knew was that it was somewhere else to be. So I went with him. That's why I was with him. And it wasn't until we were in the dark, at least in these bands, that I began feeling ill, off, but he insisted we stay. So we stayed for about 2 years or so, before I finally decided to leave. I left. I was on my own. I left Pio altogether. Went off to Sanaa. Spent my time there.
Wait, was he not affected?
Almost certainly he was. But all I saw was a father. My actual father. How he behaved could be easily dismissed.
But I
Looking
mean,
back-
looks and things like that. The physical markers.
Sure. He looked pale. He looked crazy. That's what I noticed. Sorry, I can't recall more than that.
How
Perhaps
old
it's
were you?
repressed. I suppose I was about 10 or 11.
And you guys just, what, camped out in caves?
There were small towns we stayed in. Other times, yes, we were camping out.
And you freely were able to just go into it and then out again? My understanding is you need keys of a sort.
Keys?
Of a sort. The kind of ways to get in and out.
I don't recall anything like that, but I don't think he ever explained to me how he moved about in the bands.
You think he's
You'd have
still
to ask
there?
him. She immediately pauses. Somehow I doubt it.
That makes sense.
Give me an insight check.
Oh, good. Insight is a 21.
You can tell the moment she paused, she kind of went a little bit pale, and it was a clearly uncomfortable pause before she spoke. Her words are clearly very superficial. They're not giving all the details, or even close.
Not giving all the details in what regards.
You asked her, is he still there? To which she said,
Oh, okay.
probably not. The details of that clearly have made her very uncomfortable.
You haven't heard from him or anything like that?
No, assuredly have not. Why would I want to anyway?
I suppose that's true. These towns that you mentioned, did they have names?
I suppose so. But I don't honestly remember. They were still towns, there were people. But more often than not, we were not in those towns. We were among the trees or somewhere.
And how many people know about, like, maybe not all these details, but, like, the towns there? For example, like, you have your, oh, what's his name? Dragon Tooth or whatever. He's over there thinking that nobody over in the dark have any intelligence. Towns would indicate otherwise. You know.
There's a difference between what purgers have found since the discovery of ferals in these bands and midnight beasts. There are towns that have been found in these bands where ferals may live. It's those areas that, yes, you might find those who now walk among us. Anything more than that is where the question comes up of their intelligence, of their ability to act as our military.
Well, dragon brains over there I don't think really differentiates.
Am I going to get an answer to my question?
About my voice?
Yes.
I mean, this is just my voice.
And why were you using a different one before?
I thought it would be fun.
Really?
Yes, I've always found the country lifestyle to be so lavish.
Why
so
is that?
Quaint.
An
Simple.
elf who finds... You can give me a persuasion or a deception. Insight check.
Now I got the no.
It had to be coming.
She almost unconsciously folds her arms in this like almost maternal way of like, you really think you're gonna get that one by me? Lavish. So why
Okay.
really?
Well, really more. Barbaric's not the term I want to go with, but maybe
But you find it suiting.
uncouth, perhaps.
Where are you originally from, Beau?
Vendella. Or is it Vendella or Fendella? Now I'm blanking.
Vendella.
Oh, Fendella.
Are you?
Yes. It's not exactly like that was vetted when we joined.
What brings you all the way down here?
Well, the spirit of adventure, of course.
Right. Just like the adventure you'll find in those lavish towns in Eustrom or other places that speak with that beautiful dialect.
Yes. Have you been?
Not personally, no. I would like to go, though. Sounds beautifully boring.
You'd be surprised. It's all
Very
new
few things
levels of boring.
Very few things surprise me anymore. Did I answer your questions?
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, now you'll know what to look for if you ever see what was so fondly called, what did they call it? An angel's warning, I believe it was called fondly.
Wait, what?
When I've gotten sick.
They call it an angel's warning.
One close to me had called it that. It
Who
tends
came up
to-
with that term?
Just someone close. Because it tends to get exacerbated when I'm exposed to the dark. So it's like an angelic warning. Hey, you're too close to something dangerous. Go somewhere else. But I rarely get off in time, so... Then I'm sleeping heavily for a day or two.
I see.
So...
Have they determined the lethality of this angel's warning?
Well, the person who gave the term was not exactly a healer himself, but I've not had it otherwise investigated. It's just something you deal with. I haven't made a habit of being near the dark since I left.
Probably for the best.
I would agree.
But at least now I have some context.
As do I. A young man from Fandela joining us under guardianship. How fascinating.
Yeah, not too fascinating, though. Surely there have been others. Here.
Not that I can recount.
Well, wasn't there an elven name on one of those mailboxes?
Yes. Probably.
Where was he from?
Marin's Eve? I believe Marin's Eve.
Where's Marin's Eve?
Marin's Eve is that large city that's like it's the southernmost kind of region or point of Ophidia. It's like the last stop for
Oh, that's
tourists.
a place that Maria went to, I think she mentioned, maybe?
Yes, probably. You don't go further into Ophidia than Marin's Eve unless you are meant to be there.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess I couldn't make it in.
People do live there too.
Well, no, I get that. The lower caste.
Indeed. Nora stands up again. You sure you don't want to go inside?
Sure, after you.
All right. Not generally how I treat my guests, but if you insist.
Ladies first, they say.
To which she gives this kind of curtsy, but clearly there's no skirt to hold on to, and kind of gives a not very gracious curtsy.
So
and heads back.
I have thought about this. Now, you said the door is open, right?
Yes.
So, at first I was going to have him hold the door open and then tail her in, but that doesn't need to happen now. So instead, as she's passing through, he's going to trip into her and then fall through. Piggybacking.
I love everything
off
about
of her.
Give me a dexterity acrobatics check, please. See if you can do this without actually tripping her up, unless you intend to trip her up.
I mean, he's just trying to get through. And I got a 7.
Oh, nice. Okay, let's see. You make this attempt to kind of mock trip and misguide or misgauge where your foot goes and then how you actually fall. And you do, in fact, tumble through, falling into her, and she is not able to get her grip properly. And both of you just crash. I rolled her own acrobatics.
I hope she finished that tea. Or how hot is it?
Did I say she was holding the tea, or did I just say that she had? Okay.
Oh, she mentioned tea, so I just
Making
assumed she
tea.
had it.
I did initially have her with tea, and I forgot to mention it, so now she didn't. But she rolled a nat 1, so you know. So she falls forward with you falling, and you hear just like a not fun sounding smack on the wooden ground, and you're both kind of sprawled on the ground now, just side by side, in this like awkward moment of silence.
Whoops! And he just picks himself up.
You pick yourself back up, and she is definitely slower to stand. But you did not feel something repelling you as you went through the door.
Aha.
First she goes to sitting, and she's rubbing her head. But she looks back up at you. I'm sorry. I apologize. And she picks herself up.
Oh, it's all right.
maybe I do need that tea. Would you like anything?
Do you have any eggs?
Actually, I might. And she goes to the kitchen. She prepares a little bit of something for Beau, and in fact will prepare a little something for everybody. Ste'yn and Snow and Viola, you guys arrive in the Rally District. You are able to take that kind of straightaway path, heading further in towards where the command residences are. So you arrive at the familiar... Oh, I'm sorry. What's up?
One thing before we arrive, Snow has been rereading the letter from Taryn, like I mentioned, and it finally clicks the description that she gave with the dream that he had, and he will look up suddenly at Ste'yn. Ste'yn, do you have the spell sending? Is that a thing you can do? I know clerics have that spell. Do you have that? Can you do that?
I believe I can. It would probably have to be tomorrow. Or
Tomorrow?
I don't have it prepared. I don't typically think of it as one I have much use for. Why? What's wrong?
What's a sending spell?
It allows you to
It's a
communicate
way to-
with people across the world, essentially.
It's
What's wrong?
it's my system.
Is she all right?
I had a dream. I don't know. I need to know. I need to find out. I had a dream, and it wasn't great, but I saw a place, and it looked... Something happened there. I don't know what happened there, but I realize it's where she is. It's Fandela,
I thought she was
the
in
Crystal City. She was. She used to be there. She's not there anymore. They traveled for whatever her class is doing. It doesn't matter. The point is that in the latest letter that she sent me, she said that they're now in Fandela, which is the Crystal City, and the way she described it is exactly what I saw in my dream. I've never even been there. I've never seen this place, but it had to have been the same place.
What did you see
And
in your dream?
it looked like something happened. It was... I don't really even know how to describe it. It was just... There was... I mean, the beginning of it, I remember. It was a memory. It was just the two of us before we first went to... Before we first got separated, before I went off to be an acolyte and she went off to be tutored. But that's not important. The important part is that it changed, and she asked me, what am I going to do without her? And then I saw a city, and it was crystalline. It was obviously the Crystal City. That's what they call it. But it was abandoned. It was lifeless. I don't know what happened, but I don't know. Something bad happened. The fact that I dreamt about a place that I've never even seen before, but it's definitely where she is. I need to know. I need to make sure she's okay.
I'll prepare it for the morning, and as soon as it's ready, I'll reach out to her. The more I know about her, the better chance it has of working.
I can tell you everything there is about her.
I'm sure she's fine, but we will make sure.
But what if she's not?
Worrying isn't going to change anything except make you more stressed out. All you can do in the meantime is try to do something productive.
Well, when I'm worried, I pray, but I know that's not a thing you tend to do. But I will
It's never
pray
helped
for
me.
you and her, that there's guidance and light on us.
Thank you.
Why don't you play us a song? That's
That's a good
something that
idea.
you do.
Is there a song that you and her liked a lot? Like a lot?
Whether she was always truthful or not, she said that she always loved all of my songs.
Well, what's your
But-
favorite?
I can play something that... I can play the first song that I learned on my pan flute,
That would be
and
lovely.
he'll start playing something. It's very simple, since it was his first, but it's nice.
Hot cross buns.
A beautiful
No.
rendition of Hot Cross Bun. We can,
That doesn't get you proficiency.
we can at least give him Mary Had a Little Lamb. That's a little more complex. Just for funsies, give me a performance check. Please do it with advantage, as you're playing this song that means so much to you and your sister, and you've known a long time.
Well, I appreciate the advantage because that was a natural 1. The other one is a 7 plus 7, so 14.
That's 7. That is disgusting.
Have you noticed how little it helps?
14 is really good. Yeah, you begin playing this very simple tune, and even like in the midst of it, as it's kind of helping to alleviate some of that just tightness in your chest as your concern is growing, you're even able to add just a small little more mature snow flourish to it. Just a touch. It doesn't need a lot, just a touch. And it really sets a tone for kind of what you were like in those years of learning the pan flute, and even helps kind of describe that relationship you have with your twin sister. It's very telling to listen to it. So maybe it'll help when Ste'yn is trying to get to know her.
As he finishes, Viola will give him some claps.
A couple of looks from people passing you guys in the street, who also kind of applaud a little bit, as if you're a passing minstrel.
He is.
Yes. As a matter of fact, are you beginning to then tell Ste'yn about her, or is that for another time?
If we're still writing, we still have time. She'd just start asking simple things, starting to get to know her.
Snow will give pretty detailed description. I mean, a lot of it physically exactly like him, except female with a blonde pixie cut. And other personality differences, such as he was the more charismatic one, she was the more intelligent one. Little things like that.
And that will kind of fill the latter half of your ride. As you approach the familiar line of houses and the sign out front, Isalin, E, you stop Cherry there.
Viola will get off the cart and like get her settled and tied up if there's a tie-up out there. And
You guys approach the door. You don't hear the music that Beau was hearing earlier. So it's just the standard quiet street. You go up and knock appropriately.
Beau answers the door. Nora's got eggs to make.
She's finishing up the last plate, and Beau, as she's about to turn around, Beau's already there. So yeah, Beau answers the door.
Hello.
Viola looks at Snow
Oh,
and is
hello.
like,
Is Nora home?
Yes,
"You're
she's
right,
making
Snow."
eggs.
That's delightful. Do you live here too? I'm afraid we haven't met. My name is Snow.
Very funny.
Are you a solid E?
You must be Mr. Solid.
Closes the door in their face.
That was a missed opportunity with the masquerade tattoo.
He'd never seen her husband. He's only seen caricatures of her
There's
husband.
the painting of
That's
him.
true.
There's the painting in the dining room, yes.
Oh, I guess there's that. The masquerade tattoos for serious business.
Serious business only.
He gets one shot a day with it.
He has very serious business. He's got to turn into Granny at some point again.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
Oh dear. You guys go inside?
You'll be pleased to know I didn't tell her anything that we did.
Oh, we thought you might have finished the debriefs. We wouldn't have to.
Oh, I didn't want to take that away from you, Ste'yn.
How long
So
have you
thoughtful.
Oh, not very long.
Hey Nora,
Maybe-
how long has he been here?
She's making eggs right now.
It's not like the door is open to the kitchen.
Oh.
She does poke her head out with this apologetic smile on her face. I'm so sorry. I was not prepared for early guests. Welcome back. I'm glad you're well.
We're
If you
sorry
give-
for intruding. Vaughn told us to head here as soon as we woke up this morning.
Of course he did.
Yeah,
Excellent.
thank you, little manservant.
Beau. I shall
would
go
love
back
you
in.
to retire.
Well, if you can keep it off the record. And then she goes back inside the kitchen. She will not say anything if you do that.
She doesn't, but she's thinking about it.
Wait, what are you doing? I may have missed it. What?
A good smack upside the head.
Oh.
It doesn't take long though. Nora comes back out and there's these 4 very simple plates that have some scrambled eggs and just 2 biscuits on each. It just looks like a very simplistic breakfast. And you do hear now the tea kettle going. She offers you guys seats in the dining room, where there's the room immediately next to the kitchen through a different door. Well, that one I think is just the archway. She sets the plates in there, so it's just a little more comfortable to sit with food in front of you. Goes back and comes back in. She has a tea kettle, and she gets from the little china cabinet. So now it's a little bit mismatched in that there's very simple plates, but she takes these really lovely little teacups from out of the cabinet, almost as if she had forgotten to take simple ones from the kitchen as she's hurrying back over, and she pours out tea for all, even if you had not said tea
Now
necessarily.
you have tea.
This won't make the heart race like the last one did, will it?
No, I assure you, this is proper tea that was gifted to me, which is very kind, when I was not feeling 100%.
What's the flavor?
This one is it's a floral, a hibiscus. They have seemed to figured that out, that I enjoy that flavor.
Viola will say
Please.
thank you and begin drinking the tea.
Do not feel like you necessarily need to. I'm simply trying to remember my manners that I did not have previously, and I apologize. I was not feeling 100% when...
There was no need for you to be doing anything more than just being there and listening, which is probably far more taxing than it should have been for you, given the whole situation.
I appreciate that. And I am certainly doing better now. So, first things
Beau
first.
drink the tea?
Huh? No, he's not.
Does Beau drink the tea? Okay.
No.
Of course he doesn't.
If he does, he'll find it tasting like milk because Snow used prestidigitation to change
Oh, if
the
he
flavor.
was gonna drink it, he was gonna change the flavor.
Yeah, I was
Nora
waiting for you to say that so that I could. I was waiting for you to say it so that I could say that Snow does it after you do it.
He doesn't want to like make it clear that he's changing it, so that's why he hasn't done anything. So he's like, how long do I have to like say it?
Is there a verbal component to that one?
Yeah, it's verbal and somatic.
Nice.
So he's just like,
But the hand can be under the table, and you can disguise the verbal in a cough. Snow
Yeah.
is used to this. Snow did a lot of things that he wasn't supposed to do when he was an acolyte.
Of course he did.
He got bored.
No kidding.
Way.
No, this
There
is my
are so many
surprise
things.
face.
well, Ste'yn, you want to run through the details?
I think Nora was trying to ask something first.
Oh, was she?
And he's quite on point. No, I was going to say I'd rather get that out of the way quickly, because there's other things I actually needed you here for. So first things first, how did it go?
Well, we solved the problem of the goblins and the shipment issues.
Mhm.
And, well, it was caused by goblins, as you'd expect, but they were part of a... And Ste'yn will begin explaining the whole situation that they got themselves in, the demi-planar place that they went to, the building they walked through, things that they found, and how they talked to the snake lady, the yuan tea, and she'll mention that this time they got a few more that they got some answers about, like, there's this entity claiming to be a deity named Mosine, and they seem to be gathering followers in the dark.
Beau, roll me a charisma saving throw, please.
Still?
Snow supplements the storytelling with minor illusions of different things that they saw so that she has a visual.
He has a 7.
Thank you. 7?
Yep.
Thank you.
Uh-oh. Does
didn't say
Ste'yn
anything.
mention the knoll?
She mentioned that they found some gnolls. She does not mention and that one of them was killed. She does not mention specifics about how the gnoll was killed or the circumstances around it. Just like she does not go into detail about her conversation with the Yuan Ti and how it tried to convince her to join. She sort of skips over that.
Oh, just kind of hand waves it a little. No big deal.
Yeah.
Her hubris continues.
Hey,
as you're
And
explaining
she'll pull the light slaying arrow out of her bag and lay it on the table and talk about what Snow identified it as and what they learned it does. And then I've got about 85 potions worth of radiant resistance in the bag as well. They seem to be stocking.
Which will be up for selling if you think it would be helping the cause here.
Viola gives a big eye roll.
They seem to be preparing for fights or a war of some sort.
That's precisely what it sounded like to me.
And if they're getting things like this arrow, making potions to resist, probably the best thing to fight them with, or would have been.
But what you're describing, it sounds like some small version of a band of dark. But you were nowhere near any of the bands of dark.
Isn't that crazy? It just seems to happen to us.
Why?
I think that's a fantastic question. I'd love an answer.
So would I.
They seemed intrigued by us.
Yeah, it's not like any of us saw something special, and he gives a pointed look at Ste'yn.
And she's quiet for a moment as she's kind of taking in everything you said, as if that was not at all the story she was expecting to hear.
Yes, and we did learn while we were there that apparently you need certain things that they called keys to come in and out.
Of any band?
Of this particular band, at least. I mean, we know from other experiences with the dark that doesn't have to be everywhere that the dark is. You need it. But to access this place...
Well, we don't know that for sure.
I'm afraid I'm not any master purger, so I couldn't tell you what they specifically do when they go traveling into bands. But they do travel into them.
That group
Some
of
way.
boys, Daffy's Dukes or whatever they were, they got Pistachio and their horses and all the other stolen goods out somehow. So clearly they didn't leave through the drain that we did.
Well, they said it was just left in the woods. It seems like it just kind of coughed up.
Or Dominion, whatever it was said. That's what the 1T in the figure talked about.
Sort of like what happens if you destroy a bag of holding that has things in it. They just kind of drop out.
Right.
Yes, and
Closed it. It can be
I think
closed?
that makes sense.
that's what was said. We have about as much information as you do.
It seemed like this was a temporary kind of setup.
He seems lost in thought for a moment. Temporary.
Also, they said that we only got in there. So, like, it was kind of like they pick and choose while you're walking in the woods. So I don't think everybody that goes to those woods went in.
Maybe you are special to some way.
Must be my looks.
That's it. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's mainly saying that to take away from Ste'yn. Like,
Your looks and your dialect, I'm sure, put together. Irresistible.
yes.
Yes, he likes
They
to play
love
around
their
with it.
Fendella boys.
I've heard so much about those Fandela boys. With their varsity jackets.
They're gonna take home the cup this year.
Right.
Rah, rah. I always thought there was something so highfalutin about those elves, those full-blooded elves. You know how they are.
I think they're so special.
It's only the Ophidians, though. I feel the ones in Vencelat tend to be very calm. They're more like the artist types than the jock types.
Do you have any idea, back to the topic on hand, do you have any idea of what if you knew, oh, I can't get into this dark place without a key, or I can't get out of this dark place without a key, what would come to your mind as maybe something that would work as a key? And Snow casts Detect Thoughts on her.
You're asking her what she thinks might work as a key into a band of dark?
Yes.
Okay. There's a clear look of confusion and wondering on her face. You see just this very dark place, and you see a silhouette. It looks humanoid, but you don't... And you just get this kind of a feeling of just incredible discomfort, veering on fear. But there's no clear answer as to how. To which out loud she's saying, I don't have the slightest idea. Time in the dark is not one of my favorite holidays, I suppose. So I don't know how anyone would do it.
So you don't happen to know of any dark items in particular?
Not something I spend time on, no, I don't.
Do you know anyone in the guardianship that does? You know, like a dark researcher?
Or your husband?
She looks back at you as you say that, with this kind of a pointed look on her face. I can say that Captain Elikin has not mentioned to me any particular way he goes about what he does, and I don't ask many questions.
So he goes in to those places?
I don't
Or you're
understand
just not
exactly.
sure?
I don't understand exactly. What purges and guards tend to do is... The goal is to push back the dark. The goal is to, wherever the bands are reaching, they do something in there, and it decreases the mist. It pulls it back. That was the entirety of the Millennium War. It was pushing back this darkness that encroached upon the light. I don't know precisely what they do. I imagine it involves killing midnight beasts that have taken and tainted the area. If there's more to it than that, he hasn't said anything to me. Then again, very few people say much to me.
So it would be a surprise to you if you discovered that you had one of these dark items in your house?
In my home?
Yeah, upstairs,
Yes.
for example. Does Snow see any deceit in her thoughts?
You see this sudden image of like her bedroom as you say upstairs, and that's clearly the first thing that comes to mind, but you just get a sense of confusion. And then you would need to recast it. She shakes her head. Why so specific? Do you suspect you found something? When were you upstairs?
Snow doesn't answer. He just gets up and he goes to where the shard of dark focus was on that shelf upstairs.
He looks at the others. Does he do this often?
It's one of
He must have snuck in one night. I don't know what he's doing.
And Nora follows you. She doesn't stop you per se, but she follows you. Where do you go?
I
Up
was
to
coming back down.
It was up to the study.
Right, but also someone has just walked upstairs and she doesn't know why they are just walking upstairs in her home.
I know that. That's just what Snow says.
I was like, I'm coming right back.
I'm just going get it. And he does. He just grabs it and then goes to head back downstairs.
You would catch her, I suppose, like right where the steps, right, that platform where they are turning. So she kind of stops short as you're holding that shard. Yes, what does that have to do with anything? I barely know what that is. What is it? What do you think it is?
It's a shard of dark focus.
Yeah, but if he needed it to go in the dark, it would be with him.
You're shouting this from the dining room.
Oh, well, I mean, he would
Let's
have
return.
just went on this little field trip too if she left.
Oh, now we're
Let's
having
go,
a conversation
everybody.
on the stairs. Let's return.
We can go back. We can sit down. We don't have to
This is-
stand here.
This is more than I thought I was getting this morning. So in plain... Yes, I'm fine. In plain common, please. What is that?
Well, what I identified it as is not quite everything. What I identified it as, however, is simply a means of essentially holding a bit of evocation magic within itself to be used at a later time. However, it is specifically meant for or made by, I don't know. It has some connection to the dark, because not just anyone would be able to use it so easily.
Have you used it?
You would need... No, I don't really have much in the way of evocation magic, so it's not really my thing. But we did technically use it. It was the key. Not this one, of course, but one like it.
Do you know it was the key?
Well, we didn't have anything else.
That's what you growled when we were under the water, and that was glowing.
That's
Yes.
what let us out.
Otherwise, we would have been stuck there.
Oh,
Right.
that one.
Yeah, but interestingly enough, we did have that other one the very first time in the underground temple, which is also sketchy in the same way. So maybe we did need a key then as well, and I just so happened to have it because I picked it up without knowing.
But we were in 2 different carriages. I'm just saying,
Well,
it
no,
might
like
not be...
leaving the hovel area, not
But-
leaving the dock in its entirety.
But
Because you can just go in and out of the mist.
Nora and Dragontooth stayed longer, and they didn't have one, and they managed to
I
just
Who?
think he
walk
means
off.
access to the
Moon
temple
Ridge.
below.
Oh, the temple below.
Right.
Yes.
I think it's a key more for a specific place rather than like a big area.
Hmm.
I'm literally just making this up. I have no idea. But that's my hypothesis.
Sounds like a good
I just think it's
hypothesis
interesting
to
that we
me.
found these both times.
Yeah, I mean, it does sound interesting.
And I also find it interesting that you just happen to have this in your house, Nora. And you didn't
She's-
even know what it was.
Does
and
your
you have an
husband do
illness.
magic?
You have an illness that is made worse by the dark, and here you are in your house with an item of the dark. Doesn't seem like a great idea.
She's just slowly nodding with her eyes downcast, as if she's just entirely lost, just in thinking.
Does your husband do magic?
I'm sorry?
Husband, magic. Does he do it?
Small feats. He's not a caster per se. It's not his expertise.
Is he a researcher of some kind?
Listen, the purpose... I asked you to come here. Debrief aside. It's necessary, technicalities, whatever. I asked you to come here because I wanted your assistance with something else, if you weren't opposed. Speaking of Captain Elikin.
Do you think he's cheating on you? You
Oh,
want us to
Beau.
do a little
Beau reached over
investigation
and
work?
Beau behind the.
Now he
It's an honest question, Ste'yn.
If you want us to beat him up for you, we will. We have no problem doing that.
I've
I think we
already
should
given
just
By
him
let
him, I
Nora
mean Beau.
speak. Why don't we just listen to what she has to say, and then we'll know what she wants us to do.
Fine.
Thank you, Snow. And yes,
So what do you
Viola,
want us to do?
I've already given Ste'yn permission. As I was saying, Captain Elikin returned with his guard, the ones that had gone to investigate, where you had said this underground temple to the dark was, and that whole surrounding area. Well, the search appears to be inconclusive.
It's gone.
Not gone.
Well, but
Sorry, I
let
got
her
excited.
finish speaking.
I'm sorry I got excited.
Well, I suppose what you mean by it depends on what you mean. The house that was there is still there, and that abandoned temple, but they didn't see any entrance to any dark temple.
It's gone.
Certainly hope not.
So you want us to
How
go
else are you
there
going to
and
investigate?
walk around a little bit?
Well, I do. I want you to accompany me.
Won't you
weren't
get a
well
little
last time.
sicky sick?
It's fine. The amount of whatever that was there would hardly have affected me. I think I understand why I was as
heard
affected
how
as I
badly
was.
you were coughing. You were not well.
I was fine.
Well, is
I
that...
don't think we're going to persuade her otherwise. It'd be better for her to go with us than to go by herself.
She's
that's-
right. I'm going anyway.
Okay.
Is there something we should bring or prepare, or a person we should bring with us to help in
Lots
the
of
event that
tea.
you do get ill
We'll just bring
again?
tea.
Exactly.
Anything else
Lots of
besides
tea.
that?
Are we sneaking
in
you
this tea?
out of the town? Like, are you
We can
trying to
handle
keep
anything
it
else.
a low profile that you're leaving?
Honestly, that would probably be the smarter thing to do. But I don't personally care very much.
Well, if we
Oh,
don't
but
want...
that would be fun to do it that way.
If we don't want little Vaughn following us, we probably want to do it that way.
He has better things to do. He's on duty today.
Yes. I'm sure
That
that
means he's
wouldn't
not leaving the
stop
Peace
him
District.
at all.
Do you see him here now?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
I was wondering about that actually. What the heck is his job? Why is he sometimes just like I don't even know. What is the point of him Not in like a mean way, but just, everyone
In a
has a purpose
very-
in life.
Yes.
No,
In a career way. What does he do?
We don't want to be mean,
So-
but he seems kind of redundant and useless.
I wasn't going to say that.
Always have no tactics.
Well, Beau, I believe I've come to expect it, but Snow, you seem a little touchy this morning, and I hope everything's all right.
It's fine, and I also... Never mind. I was just wondering, because, I don't know, he's odd, and I don't like him.
Fair enough. Some people don't. All of the novice emissaries are here to assist in any way that they can. They're protective, they can give information, they will help how they need to. They're here to help me to help you. So if
Right.
they have time where they're not specifically with a person or have specific duties, they might be just monitoring.
Well, we can
Almost
always
like a
talk
patrol.
the ins and outs of Vaughn on a little voyage. When are we leaving?
Immediately, if you're prepared.
Oh, alright.
Wait, what time is it?
it? Do we need to visit Fate?
No.
Who?
No.
No?
Not right now.
Well, no, we thought that the shards
Oh,
allowed
and you guys-
specific entrance into specific places. Will we need the shard that allowed us entrance into that temple, or do you think just any shard would work?
Oh.
I think we'll be fine. We found it in the temple. We didn't find it before the
We
temple.
found it in the temple to Unlo, the...
No, that we
no,
found the
it's-
sending stone. We found that one at an altar.
Ascending stone.
No, I misspoke.
We found many unusual items in our
Forget I just said that.
What's important is if we need to go get that back, we should probably do that first. Or see if the shards we have might work if they're the keys as well.
Well, let me see if there's any magical difference. Snow will sit down on the floor. He gets up out of the chair from the table and sits down on the floor because he just always does this on the floor,
Just
and
this thing.
takes 11 minutes to cast Identify.
While he does that, no, not to sound intrusive or something,
Hmm,
but
somehow I
Late.
think it's going to be intrusive.
nonsense.
It's all right. It's already too late.
So
He's been here
since-
for almost an hour being intrusive.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right. Children will be children.
Since we found that stone, he's just ignoring his comment. Since we found that stone in your husband's office, can I
He does
look
have a
around?
title, you know.
Well, I don't know his name.
Captain Elikin Asalin, Captain of the Guard.
Okay, guard captain. He had it up in his office. He might have notes on it. Can we take a look around?
You... In all honesty, I don't know what all you'd find. He doesn't keep much here.
Well, still leaves a room for something. And we got nothing else to do for about...
Oh wait, was the shard his? Or was that yours?
It's something he brought.
So it is from him.
with
You're not
love.
listening.
He says from the corner. No, he's listening as he's also humming.
Go
So
back
he's
to
only
your
getting
humming.
bits and pieces.
Do, do, do,
He's not-
do, do, do,
He's not like
do, do, do.
possessing a familiar or something. He still can hear out of his body.
He's not playing.
So
he's
is
not
it fine
playing
if I
his
go
flute,
take
he's
a
just
look?
singing under his breath.
Got it.
Can I go take a look?
She looks from you to the ladies. If
He's
you're finished
probably
eating, would you like to go
gonna
take a
look-
trip upstairs? Otherwise, it'll just be me escorting him, and I'm sure he wouldn't appreciate that.
Sure, why not?
Might as well. You okay by yourself down here, Snow?
Yep, I'll just be here.
Alright.
Have fun.
Would one of you like to stay so he's not alone?
You'll be fine.
I'm used to being alone. It's fine.
I see
one
he's
should
gonna be
used to
fine.
being alone.
11 minutes isn't gonna kill him.
She looks back at you again, Snow, whether you see it or not if you're focused on the item. But she looks back at you for a moment with just kind of a soft look, and then looks back at the ladies, and then Beau. All right, follow me. And she will guide you guys back upstairs, Hopefully you've had some time to eat some food. Otherwise, the poor biscuits and eggs are gonna get cold. Excellent.
I didn't know there was biscuits too.
Biscuits and eggs.
I see.
As they're walking, Viola's gonna ask Nora, so you said your husband dabbles in magic a bit, do you?
The captain does. I have some means. I'm also not a caster, but I have some means. And she does have her weapons on either hip. So the dagger is on her right and the firearm is on her left. She brings you guys.
Does her pistol look similar to the one that Viola saw in her dream at all? Or would that just be like a standard?
Give me an intelligence check.
That's a 10.
Okay. No, it doesn't look the same. The other one has this kind of additional flair to it, this elongated barrel, very intricate details, but all in gold. Hers does look very unique, although you're not well versed in different forms of firearms, but hers has a blue hue overall to it with gold, whereas his was this elongated barrel and all gold.
Viola, while she's thinking about it, she'll ask Nora where she got the firearm from.
It was a gift.
Do you want to expand on that at all? Like what? I'm not very familiar with this type of weaponry. My family pretty much stuck to blades, so I was just kind of wondering, like, if there was a certain person who made it or anything like that.
Give me a persuasion check.
That's a 1. Hire that die for the evening.
Have a good night, die. Just someone very thoughtful. I wasn't very well versed in them myself. It seemed an odd gift, but with enough training, you can become proficient in anything.
Good to know.
Speaking of unusual weapons, this might seem very random, and I apologize for that, but...
Oh, that's all right. I spent the morning with Beau.
Yes, that's
Which...
deepest apologies for that.
I understand.
Do you know what happened to Kalane's sword?
She pauses mid-step, like as you guys are reaching the top of the stairs. Like, it's abrupt that you guys almost walk into her. She stops, and there's like a solid few seconds of just silence, except in the distance, snow humming. And she slowly turns back to you, and her face is like it's kind of got like a shock, like this steady growing, oh my gosh, look. I was holding it. I must have dropped it. Ah, lightly swears under her breath. I must have dropped it. Well, it's a good thing we're heading back then, isn't it? We'll have to recover that.
I thought you had handed it to Vaughn at some point.
I thought I was holding it.
Well,
either way, it didn't come back with me.
Alright.
I suppose we can ask him as well. He might remember better than I do. Everything after that is... well, it's nothing at all.
Sorry, didn't mean to make it an unpleasant moment. I was just curious.
That's all right. Again, I spent the morning with Beau. And she turns back around and goes up the stairs.
Beau's been in the office while they've been talking. This is the slowest walking ever. He's already looking through some books. He's going to yell over his shoulder.
I was going to say she wasn't going to let him go ahead of her.
What exactly are we going to do about the whole time weirdness if we're going back in there? Any precautions we can take?
Leave a note?
It seems like about an hour of time is about a day's of time.
That's a significant jump.
Is that really
better than a week?
We went down there twice, and we weren't down there for too long, and suddenly it was 3 days later.
Get us closer to the Harvest Lamp Festival. Fine.
We can think about that while you're finding what you're looking for. So what were you looking for specifically?
He's trying to see if he made any kind of notes about where he's found that, or how, if it's been used, or basically anything referencing that rock. And he's gonna start with if there's a bookcase, because I think he said that was like on a bookshelf on like the top of it. Maybe I'm misremembering where it was positioned before. So he's gonna start with wherever he remember, like wherever it was positioned before.
Yeah, there's a line of bookshelves along the wall where those the windows are. There's the desk. I think there were some that were on the wall as soon as you walk in. That's the same wall as where that chest is that was locked. You start looking through. Give me an investigation check.
Investigation. That is a 16 or 17.
Fantastic. You find, again, there's a lot of books about military tactics here, but you don't find anything that's specific to, say, like, what he might be doing, except you do find, again, that sort of crudely drawn map that you had tried to copy the first time round.
What's the deal with this map? Any ideas?
Nora looks it over. That's certainly his handwriting, but I don't... she takes it from you. She's kind of poring over it a bit. It looks like it might be in that region by the Scarred Mountains. I suppose this might be some coded tactics of his. I'm surprised it's here, honestly. He might have forgotten it.
Did he ever tell you what his code is? Like, do you have the key?
No,
Like
I'm afraid not.
You know, they say communication's good for any longevity of marriage.
Oh.
Give me an insight check, all three of you.
Oh, dang. I got a 22.
15.
28.
Viola, you note that as Beau's going, it seems to make sense. He's talking about like this marriage and, you know, communication. You see her jaw kind of tighten. Beau, while you're laughing it off, it's not just a jaw tightening, it's like a clearly uncomfortable. She's clearly uncomfortable with you having brought it up at all. Ste'yn, yeah, she seems, the idea of bringing it up, and you guys have continuously said your husband, it all seems to kind of like, almost like reaching a boiling point. She's not angry, it's just she does not want to. She seems to dislike having him referred to even as like husband.
Well, she married him, jeez.
Is there anything else you've spotted or anything else that... I don't believe that Captain Elikin has left anything else here.
Well, maybe. That's true. Oh well. And then Beau's going to go down the stairs kind of quickly. And he's gonna go over to Snow. Snow, real quick. I have something stashed in your little bag. You can use it later. Hush, hush, Slow.
Snow just turns over so you can see the opening of the bag that it's kept around.
He's gonna grab the witch brew thing, and he's gonna like show the box to him a little bit. It was like
the easy
make coven.
Easy make coven.
Oh.
Yeah, he's gonna like show the box label to it. He's like, I think you'll be better at it than me, and then he's just gonna shove it in there. So if you want to add that to the bag, cool. I'll take it
Beau,
off
give
of
me a
his.
charisma saving throw.
It was that the whole time.
Worth it. Worth
Well,
it.
it could have been that the whole time, because
I
he
know, I'm
stole it
joking.
like hours later. That is a 14.
You are watching now as Snow is closing the bag of holding, and you've already put you see yourself putting the Easy Make Coven inside the bag of holding.
Snow, what's going on? I had another lapse.
I am casting Identify. Oh.
I remember being here, and I remember us debriefing. Are we about done here?
Yes, we were about to leave, I think. You were looking around upstairs.
Why?
I would ask you if you found anything, but I'm guessing you don't know.
Why are we still here if the debrief is done?
Is he about done with? Has it been about 11 minutes yet?
I'll allow it. And
I don't
unless
know how
there's
long
more of the
everyone
ladies.
searched upstairs.
In the time in the time of looking around and then finding again what he initially had, looking it over, giving Nora time to look it over, I'd say that it could be
Annoying Nora.
You're just mad because she's not taking your sass, sir.
Wait, I'm not upset. She is.
Not you. Beau.
Oh, he's not upset. He doesn't even care.
Listen. Flat back.
So-
Somebody has to. But
So
yes, upstairs.
I was identifying this because it's the one that was found here. Wanted to make sure that it's the same as the other one so that we don't have to go back to Fate and get the one that I traded for my lovely necklace. We're also going to be going back to the they couldn't find the temple thing, the underground temple thing that we went through. So now we're going to go back. Nora's coming with us.
Oh,
Feel
why
like
is
that was all
she
the important
coming?
Stuff. I don't know. I tried to discourage her because she almost like passed out last time.
It seems a bit
And
like a
that would really-
liability.
And I also just feel really bad for her. But
Oh,
she
there's
is
that.
very insistent.
Poor
And
thing.
so I think that's all we're doing. I don't think anything else has happened other than you looked around upstairs to see if you could find any notes about this. I don't know if you found any or not, because I've been down here.
Yes, I don't remember any of that.
That's a lot. I knew Aglin wasn't any help.
Yeah, he wasn't the greatest. Also, I feel like he had a bit of an attitude.
You must have something on you. There must be something on you that's cursed. Like, there has to be something doing this. There's no one here that's, like, casting anything
The
on you.
only new thing that I got were the things that were already inspected, and that thing I stuck in your bag. But that was I got after I already had a memory lapse.
Why don't you just put the other things that you found in the bag of holding and we'll see if it fixes it. And then if it doesn't, then I'll give them back. And if it does, then we'll know.
Sure, he'll put the Semtar
Science.
and the 9-sided die in there. Because that's the only other things
Right.
that you got from there. The goblin letter we already ripped up.
Upstairs.
It was just a scimitar, right? There wasn't anything
Correct.
special about it. It was just a normal.
Upstairs. as Beau flees out of the room and clearly slightly confused and still a little bit of that jaw set and slightly uncomfortable, but has just kind of watched him go.
Yes, he
All
does
right.
that move. They both like to run.
Was Snow
Can
all
hear
right
you
from
up
the
there.
last time?
Sorry,
was
what you
Snow
asked?
was Snow all right from the last time he was here? He also left abruptly then. Well, Snow left abruptly, and this time Beau left abruptly.
I think we all made up. There was a bit of contention, but I think everything's on the bright side for now.
Good. It's good to have people you can trust around. Well,
It is. Are there people you have to trust? Are you alone in this?
she kind of looks around for a moment. I suppose that depends on what you're trusting them with. Not many people feel inclined to trust me with much, so I don't have much to give back. In a position of authority, and there's not much I can do if I don't know what's happening.
Well, maybe you should know that. The dark people we talked to, they were quite interested in me. I might have made myself known to them. And as she's saying this, she will sort of pull her hood back and let her long silver shiny hair fall. And I've recently learned that I'm probably not like my family was, human half-elves the lot. But an Asima of Atala. And the dark like the idea of a champion of the gods on their side.
An Asima. And she's kind of looking at you, and there's kind of this look of like, how did I not know? Just between how pale your skin is and just this almost like ethereal glow that you seem to have just in comparison to, I suppose, a standard looking person. But also, like, you know now, it's just like, it's almost like fiction. It's almost like legend or fairy tale.
I didn't believe it myself at first, but I think it might be the answer I've been seeking.
I'm glad that you have found answers. Never mind. So we have an Asima and an elf from Vendela. And what are we going to learn about you next, Viola? She said it half jokes.
No, there's nothing special to know about me.
She's excellent with Buttercup. Other horses are a little bit questionable.
Nice deflection.
A skilled rider is what we'll have from you, I see. And Snow, are we going to discover his stories are also magical spells?
I mean, they might as well be. With
I
how
mean, yeah.
charming they can be.
Quite charming. I suppose he's not going to find the boring that he's wished for me. But still, all the same. That's
Speaking of
really the point.
boys, we should probably catch up with them.
You're probably right. All right. After you. Kind of guides you to the door. Give me a perception check, Ste'yn.
Is a
3.
25.
Over 9,000. Okay. As you're leaving, first you note a glance. Nora glances back, sort of through the room. Her eyes falling on the large, exaggerated portrait of the wedding couple. And then also as you're leaving, just before she closes the door, her eyes fall on that chest, the locked chest, before she closes the door, smiling and motioning for you guys to go downstairs. You reconvene back in the dining room. Snow, you have time to have completed your identify, and for Beau to have mentioned he's forgotten the last 45 minutes to an hour.
Did I learn anything different from the identify, or is it all the exact same info as before?
It is the same. It's the same item.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And does it have a charge within it already, or?
Ah, that's right. You did ask me that. I think I did describe it looking just slightly different than the other ones did, like maybe more like gray tinge or something. So yeah, it has 1 charge of darkness.
And then the one that from Nora's house that he just identified.
That one does not have. That one is empty.
Okay. Alrighty. Before they come back down, he also puts that in the bag of holding too.
Which one? Or just
Both of
The
them.
one, Nora's.
Okay. in the bag of holding. Got it.
Yep.
You guys reconvene. She kind of looks between the 4 of you.
What time of day is it?
It's still be...
It's still morning. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No later than like 9:30ish.
Okay.
You guys like to start early, which I'm not against.
So,
I'm an early
are we
bird.
heading out?
Bed, early to rise. It works.
Well,
Exactly.
so this morning I saw Lear and got to chatting with her, and she said that all the girls from the bunks, from the girls' side of the barracks, was going to get together and do something for the Harvest Festival. So I didn't know if maybe we could, Ste'yn and I could run and do that this morning, and then we could leave at like right after lunch, so that way we can still eat lunch here, do any preparations we need to do. I just thought that sounded like fun, and I wanted to join. But if we don't have time, that's okay.
There's still many
Festival's
days
not for
before
a
the
week.
Harvest Festival. I'm sure there'll be time for you to do that with them.
Oh, but isn't there a
us
whole
doing
time
them.
jump thing in these temples?
There might be. We don't know exactly how it works.
I mean,
There
even if
wasn't
it takes
one.
3 days, we're still gonna have more than double that, so it'll be fine.
So are
It's
we
entirely-
leaving now, or can we leave after lunch?
I had hoped
Then we're gonna
to
leave
make.
it
I had hoped to simply make a day trip of it, leaving earlier and then returning. But please, if there's something involving the festival and your time with other novices, I couldn't hold you up. This is entirely a volunteer basis. I cannot make you do this. I
A
will not make
paid
it.
volunteer basis?
Oh.
I'm sure that can be arranged. I was
Just-
going to say it's not
Just
an
to
official.
get my understanding, the last thing we did was a bit of volunteer work. So we're not against it, just,
It was an
you
official
know.
assignment. You'll be
Oh,
paid.
not that.
We
Child.
escorted the family home on our way home.
Did you?
We did.
Yes, and they were lovely.
I should enjoy hearing about it.
But we'll do something with Leah, and then when we get back.
Okay. Can we at least run by and check our mail, though? Because I forgot to check my mail on the way out this morning. At least I think I did.
Oh, yes, mail is important.
If whatever preparation you need to do, please. And I can meet you at the
Are we
gate.
trying to sneak you out?
Because
As I
we can
said,
make that happen.
she
Snow
is
looks
also
very excited.
laughing. She is also laughing. She says, well, if poor Viola cannot spend the time with the other girls and doing that fun thing, I'm sure you can come up with a fun thing for us to do on our way out, if you must.
A fun thing to do? I just didn't know if we were sneaking you out of the town.
I said you didn't need to, but if you seem excited about it, please, by all means. I'll
If
cooperate.
we don't need to, then it's fine. So,
We might need to if Vaughn is slipping around. You're right.
What about a disguise?
What did you have in mind?
He's just gonna eye her a little bit first.
And she kind of steps back and kind of makes herself stand very plain, her arms out a little bit. And even in her kind of thicker, this leather armor, she still just has a very small kind of appearance. But she just kind of stands there and lets you observe whatever will work.
How do you feel about pirate hats?
yeah. How
You need
tall
to
is
die.
she?
Nora is approximately 5'5".
Oh, okay. Just under snow.
She's a little thing. Give me an insight check, Beau.
Ooh, I'm getting a lot of 18s. 21.
You joke. How do you feel about pirate hats? And there's this like kind of flicker across her face before she smiles and nods and says, I think I've always wanted to be a pirate, and if I weren't here, that's precisely what I'd be doing.
Excellent.
Dang.
He's gonna
Really?
He's gonna grab a
We should
pirate
maybe
hat,
leave this place.
the eye patch out of his bag, and like a coat. He's gonna. It might tail a little. Wait, you said she was short or tall?
She's short.
She's short.
Yeah, it might
Short, a little bit short.
drag a little bit, but it's fine.
Why would a pirate be walking through the guardianship?
Why not?
Of course. Why not?
Pirates do go on land, you know.
So I've heard, yes. Or they spend time up in the air, who knows? Depends on the type, right?
Oh, this one wasn't a sky pirate.
Ah, I see. That's all right. Maybe another time it'll be. All right. So you wanted to check your mailboxes first and then come back and I get to become a pirate walking out of the guardianship.
Oh. And then he's going to
A
do
great plan.
prestidigitation on her hair and make her a redhead.
You did it now?
Yeah. It lasts an hour.
Excellent. So her hair is currently tied back in that standard ponytail that she has. And as you say that and do that, she kind of takes some of it and sees it over her shoulder. Oh, that was unexpected. How does it look?
Wonderful.
It looks fine. Not white, so definitely hides.
Beau, you are a genius. I never even thought to use prestidigitation for that. And he uses it himself to make himself the exact color of blonde as his sister. Because she's still on his mind.
Oh, as fantastic as the red hair is, could I request it just be black?
Sure. Snap his finger.
Wonderful. And this time she's looking at it, and she just appears more impressed with the black than even with the red. All right.
Let's go.
Then I'll meet you at the gate.
Yes.
Perfect.
On our next tale.
Don't let me forget, because I promised Gary that I wouldn't steal it. I can't forget.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to
But-
steal from Gary's family.
We're asking the wrong people to remind you. All right. Shall we head out then, mateys? Yes, that's the one. Shall we head out? Is that how it sounds?
Of course, Gertrude. Let's go.
Really?
Have you ever heard of someone who titles themselves the Doctor? Would you mind if I were to try to examine your thoughts? I'm so sorry.
There's less of the agitation and more of a hopelessness, of a leaning, sitting back, just waiting, just very passive. It's cold, but also humid, tired, so tired.
Why? Why? Every single time, even when a tree hits me, it's always over 20! Yes, that hits.
Oh, does it now?
Every single time!
Golly.
The blood is pooling up down by Beau. Viola has completely lost her breath as she's dropped. You can also hear more noises in the dark distance.